Hello and welcome to Time with Dr. Harris. I am so excited about this program today. You know, we've been talking about relationships, and now you're getting ready to meet some beautiful young people who we're going to deal with courtship today, and you are going to enjoy this program. So I want you to meet Jarell and Shay, Jarell Beckham and Shayanna Crone. These are two beautiful young people that you're going to meet, and they're going to share their story. And wow, 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 they have a story. But the beauty of who they are and the journey they went on is going to be such an encouragement to you. And we're going to do real talk today. So welcome Jarell and Shay to the Time with Dr. Harris. Welcome.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Harris. We appreciate it, and we're happy to tell our story and just be examples for everyone else that are entering in relationships and intentionally heading towards marriage.
Yes. And so one of the things that we will start off with is, if you want to, how you met, how long did you date? Was it like love at first sight? You know how that goes with dating.
Absolutely.
Was it that kind? Was it that kind of thing, or how did you know each other? Whatever. Just tell us your journey as much as you want to tell, and then when did it go? When did you decide to go into courtship, and what have you learned courtship is?
I'll let Jarell.
Yeah, I can answer the first part of the question. So we go to the same church. So to answer the first part of the question, how did we meet? We met at Hope City House of Prayer, which is our home church, in 2020. But I'd actually noticed her before we actually physically started talking and dating. So I'll kind of rewind back to 2019 when I had seen her. I thought she was obviously very attractive and beautiful, and I was interested. So I kind of waited for the right opportunity. And then come 2020, we kind of started talking about like working out and getting to know each other. That kind of led to us going on like a workout date. And then that eventually led to me asking her out on an actual date. So when we talked, it just felt natural. It felt like I had known her for, forever. It didn't feel forced. And that just strengthened my connection with her as we continue to go on more dates. And then eventually I asked her to be my girlfriend about 2 to 3 months later after that. And then eventually, and filling some details if you feel like I forget some stuff. A year later, I had asked her to be my wife. So I would say just in our dating part of our relationship, it just felt extremely peaceful. Never once did it feel forced. It just felt like God was definitely in the process of, us getting to know one another and growing closer together. So I would say it was love at first sight, but we had to grow in our relationship to get to know one another and just strengthen our relationship with the Lord, which is ultimately, our foundation. So
I have a question. Before you guys met each other, you dated other people before, right?
Yeah.
You see a difference in meeting her or meeting each other than when you guys was dating before other people?
Yeah, for sure. I think with this relationship, we were both extremely intentional about each other's hearts and extremely intentional about where we see this relationship going. So in my previous relationships, okay. Go ahead, Dr. Harris.
No, that's why I would say, why would you be extremely intentional?
Because I was in a different place with the Lord, and I knew for a fact that I didn't want to like mess with her heart or like play any games, honestly. So I'm like, Lord, when you do bring my wife along, I'm going to take it serious. I'm going to be as intentional as I know how. And that was like a vow I made to the Lord, honestly. So when she did come along, I didn't, play any games, and I was just very serious about the relationship.
So before, when you were dating, were you ever thinking about getting married, or did you feel like this is the one, or forget that part? I'll say we want to hear that. But did you ever feel like you would be here like this?
Yeah. I mean, when I was single, I was pretty content in my singleness.
Okay.
Before, but it was in my heart to be married for sure.
Why were you so content with singleness?
I would say I was patient. I was content and I was patient. So,
you know why you were so content and patient?
I mean, I was satisfied with my relationship with the Lord, to be honest. I was like, I wanted to grow stronger spiritually. So that was kind of my main focus.
Okay.
And I was just like, Lord, when you do bring her along, I'll just know. So I didn't want to force anything. I really just wanted to wait on the Lord to kind of reveal it to me.
Wow. So when he revealed her to you, how did you feel?
I felt good. I was like, man, Lord, she could definitely be my wife. I knew that from the first day we went on. And I told her this, like, I don't know, it just felt different from any other relationship I had been in.
Yes, what a blessing. So God really answered your prayer. Is that what it was? You were serious, you made a decision, then God answered your prayer and brought this beautiful young lady. So Shaq, how did you feel when you met Jarell? Y'all tickle me, y'all be smiling. Okay, go ahead.
How did I feel?
Because you dated before.
Yeah, so we did. I've dated before, and we've discussed this with you guys. But I took like a dating hiatus before Jarell, and he like you said, he did too, like 2 years or a year or so, something like that. And so I kind of had that same approach, just want to strengthen my relationship with the Lord, and just wasn't taking relationships that serious at the time, but still had the desire to get married. And but during that process, I was kind of discerning, okay, what do I want, in a husband? What do I need, or any insecurities that, may have been festering, like on a individual level. So, just kind of figuring myself out and trying to make the right decisions going forward, because in the past they were never successful, but I also wasn't having like that biblical standard of, what my husband should be. But like he said, we met at our church and we had mutual friends. And so I've seen him in passing, but again, I wasn't thinking much of it. My heads were kind of in the clouds on the dating scene. So that wasn't really my line of thinking at the time. But, we had some casual conversation, and, he was interested in working out, and I was trying to get back into it. And so had a casual conversation of working out, and then planned some different hangouts. And like you said, he eventually had asked me on a date, and we both say it all the time, like our communication was so open and it made me feel so comfortable. And so I was like, okay, this is something that I can continue. And with that, full transparency and open communication, it made emotional safety for other things. Like I didn't feel like, it was me and other women or anything like that. It was just a multitude of different things. So the upfront trust and communication is what set it apart. And I was like, okay, he's really different from the other guys. I can definitely see this going somewhere. So that was my initial thinking. And
you are young people, and you guys separately, even before you came together, had made some decisions and how you want your life to be different from the way it was before when you was out here dating. And wow, guys, seriously, to be young like that and making those kind of decisions, but you saw how it benefited you to do that. For like when you guys met each other, you were in such a place. What you said, you were in such a place where you were able to receive each other.
And not bring that baggage.
Right.
And just like the trust issues and things, all the things that you bring from the toxic relationships that you have prior, but giving that time to, cut all that loose and actually like seek God, we were able to, bring that quote unquote wholeness to each other. But, after getting a relationship, that's revealed other different things that we've been able to help each other grow in. But that's for a later question.
Okay, and so very good. And so what made you decide to move from dating to courtship? And did you see a huge difference?
Yeah, great question. As far as that, me moving from dating to courtship, what went into my decision. Obviously, prayer number one. I didn't want to make any type of decision, without like direction from the Lord. So prayer number one, prayed about it. I felt a lot of peace about the decision. So that was one of the signs that made me, go from dating to courtship. And then just our chemistry and connection. I couldn't imagine myself without anybody or being with anybody else, number one. And then her meeting my family and me meeting her family was huge because I'm big on family. So I wanted somebody who can really just merge with my family, and fit right in, and vice versa, me with her family. And it felt natural with our family. So that was definitely a big thing for me because I'm a really, close-knit family type of person. So.
Mm-hmm. So what did you expect when you guys came? You were serious about wanting to do it God's way, remember? So was that challenging? What did you?
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you said that? You was wanting to be what, successful? What was your thought to want to do it? To want to go ahead and do premarital counseling?
Yeah, we just wanted to, like you said, Dr. Harris, do it God's way and honor the Lord with it, because Shay's a gift. So I wanted to just steward her correctly and honor the Lord at the end of the day with my relationship. So I knew that we needed probably premarital counseling and people who have already been through this to help us and then kind of guide us on it. So number one, we wanted to be pleasing to the Lord, and, we wanted to learn from people who've done it before and have seen success in their marriage already.
So would you say that it was during the courtship when you really got to know each other?
That's that one.
I would say, I think just with time, with anything, time, just being with each other for a longer period of time, different things did expose themselves and how we reacted to, different triggers or emotions and things like that. Because we probably dated, and then our engagement period was probably shorter than most, depending on who you ask. And so we did, how am I trying to say it?
Let me help you.
But go ahead.
Because courtship is to help you. You guys already have made a decision to just be with each other, to be exclusive. So that was already a decision made. So courtship now puts you in another level of really getting to know each other in every way. So give some examples for those who've never been in that kind of situation, the things that you learned and that you went through. One of the gifts that you guys did have was communication. You guys, it's one thing that in the friendship and communication. But what are some of the things that you learned along the way?
Yeah, so like you said, communication, we were really good at that in the beginning, but going through the premarital counseling just intensified it and just offered us more opportunity to communicate. But I think one of your exercises that you and Pastor presented to us was our love walks. And so everything else, outside of the communication, were we loving each other? Were we being envious? Were we being prideful? Were we being patient? So we noticed that there are a lot of tendencies of, either of us being impatient. So just highlighting that and, working through those things. So that exercise definitely helped us a lot, and asking us on a weekly basis and then having us reflect on that. We thought, well, I could have loved better, or if there was a different circumstance, I actually wasn't being kind, So it's just we communicated, but how was the communication? Was it in a state of anger? Were we saying mean things? So just fine tuning that communication, and then just doing our Bible studies together with you all. That definitely helped strengthen us, and just you and Pastor giving us that example of what love actually is. And even from that purity standpoint, like that was one of our obstacles. And just like identifying, when we're out of alignment with God, we're really not loving each other like we're supposed to. And we saw the fruit of that. We would be upset with each other or be nitpicky, and we weren't friends. And you said that, we just needed to hone in on that friendship, because then that will, help just the marriage, just be long lasting with obviously a host of other things. So
Right.
I would say that's one of the.
So did you feel like you guys grew in respect for one another?
100%. I would say just because we knew each other on a deeper level, and we knew how we could help each other from a spiritual standpoint and a practical standpoint. It definitely grew our love, just because it was like, this is bigger than just the way we feel about each other. Obviously that's a strong component of a relationship, but it was just like, I care about this person's soul. So definitely I grew in respect for her, and I would say she did for me too.
Yeah, that was
And just understanding like the biblical aspect of respect, and like, how it's a mandate, and like not saying like it was forced upon me, but I want to do that. But it's just like honing in and identifying like it is, my duty to be respectful of my husband. And then like, what does that look like?
Yeah, right. And one of the things as a young lady and being young that it was very important for you that Jarell would lead you.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, that's important just because one of the household that I grew up in, I'm not saying that my parents were perfect at all, but just like, having that leadership in the household, and having that example, and just that I have the Bible as my standard. So I'm like, if that's what God wants for us and our covenant, like that's, I want to really hone in on that. So it was very important, even though I'm like a complete independent, so to speak, woman. That was still something that I was like, I want to submit, just because our children that's going to come, that is just something that was just super important to me.
So Jarell, you knew that she was a very independent woman, things like that. How did you feel that she was willing to submit to you and that she wanted you to lead? Did that feel challenging as a man to be able to have that responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, at times it did, but I know at the end of the day, like, I wasn't dependent on, like, it was like I'm dependent on myself practically, but like at the end of the day, like, as long as I'm submitted to the Lord and following the Lord, she's naturally going to submit to the God inside me and follow me, as long as if I'm doing my part. So like that took some of the pressure off of me, just because like I said, I knew it wasn't all on me to like figure everything out.
So the fact that she is independent and strong, you allow her to be that. You are,
yeah, I mean,
you're not intimidated in that.
No, I want her to be the best possible version she can be, and if that means like her strong personality, or sometimes what's the word I'm looking for? Just strong-willed. I want to be able to help her, like, be the best version she can be. So without feeling like I'm putting a damper on her personality or her spirit or anything like that. So
you feel like you guys worked through that?
We did. I mean, we still have, things we worked through, and that's where communication comes in.
The rest of your lives, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's never going to be like, a fairy tale, but at the end of the day, I think like Shay said, our blueprint is the Bible, for that, like, I guess,
let's get
standard. So that's kind of where we get our guide from. So
y'all kind of surface right now. Let's get a little detail. Okay, so so some of the things that you guys learned. Okay, one of the things that we pressed also was you're two people raised differently, getting to know each other. How did you guys deal with that? Did we, as far as digging deeper, as far as the different personalities that the families had, and you guys bringing your families together and working through that, which is very important when you're coming together, because you're not just coming together as you two, but you're coming together as a family.
Yeah, that was
that you guys did for that.
Yeah, that was definitely super important for us. Like he said, he's very family oriented, and just a little bit of background. He had lived with his two other siblings and his parents under the same household their entire life, so they all have the same biological parents. And then with my family, we have a blended family. I have a couple siblings, me and my younger brother and younger sister. We share the same mom and dad. And then I also have some half sisters. And that had caused some friction areas, and then just the different dynamics of all of that, the residual dynamic of that caused some strain just on our family dynamic. And so I had some insecurities about that. And then just, him coming from his tight, close-knit sibling relationship and to mine, just a little insecure about that. But as we talked through that, we're still kind of talking through it. But also I wanted him and my dad to be really close, but also, like I said earlier, our dating and courtship timeline was faster than most. So I think my expectation was like, all right, I want them to be best friends by month 4. Obviously that didn't happen, but just the I forgot how it got set up, but him and my dad ended up like going to get some food and different things like that, and kind of Jarell reached out. So, and we had a tough discussion with you all, just like whose responsibility did it fall on? Should the dad reach out, or should the soon to be husband reached out? And so just trying to iron that out. But eventually Jarell had reached out, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your husband had said, if a newbie is basically coming in, his kind of responsibility kind of fell on him. But after all that, like I said, he ended up reaching out to my dad, and they were able to get some food, and just had a couple different meetups since then. And now my dad is actually a barber, and Jarell goes to my dad to get his haircut and stuff now. So that's like another time and intimate time that they kind of have to like bond. But I think their relationship has grown since then. But obviously there's room to grow and different things like that. But that was something that was very important to us, and we had to just kind of get over that hump. I even had to, tell my dad, like, hey, he's here for the long haul. This is something important to me. Can you be open just to getting to know him? But on his side of the family, it's just all boys. And so his mom was very receptive of me. She always jokes like, I want some daughters. And his middle brother got married last year, and his younger brother actually got engaged 2 weeks ago. So she's like super ecstatic and, super happy that she has daughters and stuff now. And so I think in that approach, it was more, like, come on in, welcome in, versus my parents, they were vetting him out because he was the first guy that's come to the family, so it was just different dynamics, but we're in a good space.
Well, I want you to know that your mother told me that how much that that the mother and father appreciate him coming to them like that. That gave them a lot of huge respect.
Oh yeah.
I think that you, Jarell, learned something from that, didn't you?
So can you repeat that one more time back there?
I said that Shay's parents it really touched them that you would come and respect them like that, and it gave them a lot for you. I said, did you learn a lot from that? That you stepped forward and said, okay, this is what I need to do as the man, because she's coming into your life and to understand the importance of her father and mother, getting to know you and give them that respect and headship.
Yeah, 100%. At the end of the day, my goal was always to earn their respect, and then for them to just get to know me on like a personal level too. So, I mean, whatever I had to do to earn their respect to, get their blessing, I was gonna do. So I definitely learned a lot throughout the process of just, asking for her hand in marriage, and then just talking to her dad and her mom on like a personal level too. So
why was it always so important for you to lead, Shay? That was very.
What was the last part?
As a man, why? Can you guys hear me pretty good?
Yeah, that last part went out a little bit.
Why was it so? From the time we met you, it was very important for you that you would lead as a man, that you would be a strong man and you'd be able to lead. Why was that important to you?
Yeah, I think because I see my dad kind of model that example in my household growing up. Stay open. Model that example in my household. So that's what I wanted for my marriage because that was what I seen growing up. So, we're both still growing in Christ and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's what I got. That's what I was modeled. So that was the only thing I knew, as an example. So I think it just kind of came natural to me, honestly. So.
But because Shay feels so strong about that on her part, that never challenged you to really be able to meet up to her expectation?
100%. 100%. It definitely did. I'm not going to sit up here and act like it was a breeze or it was easy at times. Because I'm still growing in my relationship with the Lord. I'm still like learning how to be, a husband and stuff like that. So there was definitely times where like I had to do some self-assessment, and look inside myself to say, Jarell, where are you struggling at? Where do I need help at? Call my dad, talk to Pastor Harris. So definitely 100%. I had times and challenging times of understanding how to lead her properly. But it definitely came easier.
Jarell, yes.
Yeah, and I'm still learning. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing we have to understand. In each part of our lives, you never stop learning. You should never stop learning. Even though you guys are young, there's just transitions to different parts of our lives that we have to continue to learn and to grow and to know that we're in this the long haul and that whatever we have to do, one of the things that you guys had that was always good was the fact that you would communicate. And so good, better, and different, that communication is so, so important. And so how important is that to you, Shay? That you guys can talk about anything and everything. And we in the counseling thing got serious about how deep to go. So how did you feel about that? Wanted to communicate everything.
Yeah, I thought it was essential that we needed to communicate everything, even the hard parts. And just to throw that out there, sometimes I did not communicate. Sometimes I would literally ignore and roll my eyes and be like, we'll talk about it later. Right. So we had to find that balance of the when we communicated, because sometimes if I'm frustrated, I'm like, okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And he's like, I'm trying to talk about it right now. So that was, though we communicated, yes, we had to figure out what was the sweet spot of, not letting the sun go down on the raft, but this is not the right time, to talk about it because I'm still upset and I don't want to say things that's going to antagonize the situation. So, yeah, I think the over communication, and I think honestly it's gotten easier because we thought we communicate for the stage that we was in the beginning, we were communicating well, but I'm like, now it's just like, what's your issue? Okay, this is the issue. And so I think it also came with comfortability of like, okay, we're getting married. It's just like, there's no turning back now, In our case, there's no turning back now. It's just like, so now we're just going to lay it all out on the table. So it's just as, allowing each other to have that space and not feel like we're going to get a lash out or going to get belittled or anything like that. Like, okay, I'm making a space for you to tell me the hard truth and vice versa. It may not be what we want to hear at the time. It may take a couple of days to click. In both instances, we realize like, oh man, I may have been wrong. It may have taken a couple of days. You come back and you apologize. So I think that's another thing too. Communicating and then following up with some sort of resolution. Like if you were in the wrong, you need to come back and say that. You need to apologize, even on the small things, you he tells me like, you don't need to say stuff like that, or, you know, this X, Y, and Z. So yeah, very important, very crucial and critical.
Yes, and one of the things that was very important as you guys would continue to learn was finances and the things moving forward. If you guys, when you guys decided to get married, when you got married, all the different things, detailed things that you were learning about each other. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, we'll talk about it. We're having more of a heavier conversation about that now too, because we're getting to that finish line of like, okay, how are we going to, the actual execution of the merging? But yeah, we had to have hard conversations of like, okay, am I gonna stay home and what if I make or what if I made more money than you, like, would you stay home? And just having those like tough conversations, or like, is it really our money, or do you have your separate account or our separate account, or what's our goals, what's your debt and your credit score? Just get into those gritty conversations, and and we have found what we believe that will work well for us, and then if not, again, that communication and figuring out, okay, this actually doesn't work, let's navigate, just streamline what will be best for us. But being on one accord as far as our spending habits and giving ourselves those budgets, I know that's something that he's always praised me on, of just like being organized with those things and making sure we're setting our budgets and following them. And so yeah, that was very important to us, because obviously, as everybody always hears, finances is one of the top reasons people get divorced. And we told each other that is not going to be our portion, and that shouldn't have to be an issue. So we've decided to just merge all of ours. We believe just having full visibility, everyone has their own opinion, but just like, again, that's just a residual effect of our over communication. So I'm like, as long as we have everything out in the open and stuff is joint, we believe that will be better for us. So yeah.
So do you guys support each other's weaknesses and strengths? Do you realize what they are and be able to understand it and walk in that? Have you noticed that yet?
Yeah, I think we both have different strengths and weaknesses. I mean, obviously, we want to play to each other's strengths. But I would say we for sure know and are still learning, each other's strengths and weaknesses. So,
and I would say that he is more optimistic and positive about some things, and I'm more like the analytical. I'm still optimistic, but I'm more like, okay, how can I need to see the end result sometime. So I think we like balance each other in that aspect. And then as far as like just different patience levels and just different things, I think we are both like stretching each other in those capacities. I know sometimes he could be more kinder than I can, or more patient, or more flexible on certain things. And so that challenges me. But yeah, I think we definitely play on those strengths and weaknesses.
Very good, very good. So one of the things that you guys did a lot of in your dating and courtship was did a lot of fun things. Mm-hmm. Remember that? So talk about why that's so important.
I mean, it's just fun to experience, new things together as friends. I like having fun. I like doing things and spending time with her too. One of our love languages is quality time spent. So whenever we can just experience new things together and spend that time, doing it together, it's fun. So like she said, any new things we can do together is just fun. So.
And for me, I'm like,
go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say, just to piggyback off that, is just not doing those things so we don't take each other for that time for granted. Like, especially when kids come down the line of just like, we want to forever be able to do fun things. But I think our main focus, especially for this time frame, like, trying to do it a kingdom way and take the focus off of sexual intimacy. He was like, okay, let's do some fun activities, rock climbing, and we did so much, it slipped my mind. Everything, kayaking and painting, and then so
I'm some of the things you guys did, if you can remember some things.
We've been kayaking, we've been amusement parks, we rode some camels, Hocking Hills,
and what we're going to be doing,
indoor skydiving.
What we have planned for our honeymoon is jet skiing, scuba diving, this water park,
ATVs.
Oh, ATVs, they're like 4-wheelers. So we try to find some things we haven't done yet, but I'm like, shoot, by year 2, there's gonna be nothing left for us to do.
We're gonna find some.
Did everything.
One of the things that Jarell keeps saying that's very important about you guys being friends. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, I mean, friendship is like a key element to any relationship. At the end of the day, we want to enjoy each other's company and just enjoy each other. So that friendship key is, what'll help get you through marriage during the tough times. Because there will be like challenging times in marriage, but at the end of the day, we truly understand what love is, and we truly understand that we are each other's best friends at the end of the day.
So without the friendship, what do you have?
Acquaintance.
I don't know what you call that, like roommates.
Strangers.
Well, and what does friendship help you to do in your relationship?
It just helps you keep, to me, like a open heart. Like your friends, you're willing to forgive and kind of, I mean, it may be hard, but you're willing to kind of, in some instances, but the goal is to just be able to reconcile and, see each other, meet each other where, we are, and not, versus a stranger. If a stranger, cut me off on the road, I'm like, oh, it's away with you, but I'm like, okay. And this is example purposes, obviously. Jarell cut me off. I'm like, man, why you do that? Whatever, but we can talk it out. We know each other's hearts, and, we have that foundation, like, okay, today we may have had a bad day. Okay, let's just start again tomorrow. Like, we see each other in that light and can, I feel like it's just a spring we can bounce back off of, and it'll just keep the marriage lively. And like, if we're friends, I feel like we'll be able to get through.
That's one of the things that you guys experience. Let's say, because you're friends, if you had a disagreement, what did you miss? Remember that?
Yeah, each other.
Yeah, because you guys are friends.
Yeah.
You see that? You remember that, Jarell?
I do.
Yeah, she's your friend. So a lot of people are not friends. And so because you guys are each other's friend, when you have a disagreement and you were missing your friend, and that is so important in a relationship. Would you agree?
100%.
And you guys laugh together a lot?
We do. We definitely do.
And when y'all celebrate big.
Hey, it's the only way to do it.
Creative and big and just wow. And so when you finally, what was the thing that Shay kept waiting for that you eventually had to surprise him?
Oh, the engagement. She was on my head. But nah, she was definitely waiting to be proposed to. And I had told her, like,
Go ahead.
I had told her, like, it's gonna happen at the right time. You just gotta be patient, give me some time. And it's gonna happen the way you want it to happen. And it did. So she just had to be patient, and everything worked itself out.
So one of the things that you do, Jarell, very good. Shay is a diamond kind of person. Like she wants it big, and you say, okay, we need to hone in on what we can do budget-wise. You mean it's like, we want to spend $20,000 to go on a honeymoon, but we need to. So Shay, how do you? Because he's always been consistent with that, which is we all have to have. That's the weakness, strength that we have in relationships. How is that helping you now that you probably recognize that strength in him?
I mean, it's definitely helped. Yeah, I would say. I know he was definitely big on staying within the budget for the wedding, and fortunately, we got a lot of help, so I can still get what I want. So it worked out for everybody. Um, but like outside of the engagement and the wedding, those grand things, I think everything else is within reason. I would say I'm pretty um, budget friendly for majority of things, and so like just having those conversations, and then he says what he wants to do, and stay within these reins, and so I'm like, okay, how can I achieve X, Y, and Z within this budget, but still get best bang for your buck. So it's all about just flexibility, compromise, and just making sure we both win in this situation. But yeah.
You feel like because you guys have such great communication that as you guys understood each other's strength and weakness, you were able to sit down and talk about it and recognize that she's stronger in this way, he's stronger that way, and how it comes to be a whole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think we're still figuring that out. But like I said earlier, it's been becoming more easier to talk about. We've gotten more comfortable with each other every day. I feel like it's just becoming more and more easier. But I don't know if you have anything really to that. Mm-hmm. I would, yeah.
So that sounds so nice. So let's say Shay wants to decide, I'm going extreme right here, wants to decide, well, you know what, because we've had this conversation before. Let's just go ahead and just get married.
What was that?
Let's go ahead and just get married.
Oh, okay.
And how did you feel about Jarell? What did you do in your strength?
I
remember.
Trying to think back. Like I know our goal was to get married. We had to realistically understand, like, we have a future we want to prepare for it too. So it's just like, we only got a certain amount of money we could, potentially spend on a wedding. So for me, it was more so thinking ahead in terms of the wedding. As far as the budget, I would say, I know she wanted like a big, not elaborate, but she just wanted a nice wedding. But we had to work within our means. Obviously, we got a little bit of help, which helped too. But we just had to be realistic with what we could and what we couldn't do, and work from that. So
one of the things that's good, but that's not what I was meaning. Even though you loved her and you knew you was going to marry her, it was important to you that you felt really that it's important that she had a wedding. Remember that? Her love was, you, baby, but you still thought it was important. The realness of what she would want is let's have a wedding, big, small, whatever. You made that decision. Shay, how did you feel that he took that lead?
Again, I think.
Did you appreciate it?
Yeah, and I think just like the overall arching definition for marriage is just compromise. So,
yes,
me not pushing it out 3 years from now to save up all the money in the world and get the best, most magnificent wedding, it's like, okay, let's do it. But then the 10-month range, that way it's not taking too long. And then, again, we're able to still achieve what we wanted. But from just that emotional aspect of it, I was grateful for the compromise, and I'm sure he did as well. And I think outside of that, just from the spiritual aspect of like, we know inside we had some more growing to do. So it's just like, we don't need to rush it and try to, because we got engaged in August 2021. Yeah. So it's like, okay, trying to put it in December, we're operating in our flesh. The reason we trying to have it in December is obviously, with good intentions, didn't want to stumble or anything like that. But it's just like, we need to actually get to the root and, take our walk with Christ more seriously now that, we're stepping into another season and transition. And then also, of course, with just wanting to have the celebration that we deserve.
So from the time you get met and you fell in love, or you don't fall in love, but that you maybe just you love each other, has your love grown?
Yes, 100%.
Talk about that.
Yeah, it's made me more appreciative of her. It's made me like, look within myself and, dig deeper. Honestly, it's kind of hard to hear, so that's why I'm close. But it's definitely made me like learn how to love somebody outside of myself from an unconditional standpoint, for real. And that has made me a better man, 100%. So meeting Shay and getting to know her and then about to marry her is 100% made me a better man. So.
Right, Shay?
I would say.
Question.
I forgot the question. Tell me, Grace.
Okay. The question was, you guys, kind of decide to love each other. You met, and there was definitely a connection. But has your love grown? And how has it grown?
I remember now. Yeah, definitely have grown. Just because I think, and this, I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but just like the tolerance, but I don't really mean like I'm tolerating him, but it's just like the grace that we've had for each other has grown, versus like in the beginning, I'm like, or just previous relationships, if, some upset me or rub me the wrong way, I'm like, I don't really, again, but when you don't have that friendship foundation, that's obviously the fruit of that. But like, again, being friends and, just understanding our weaknesses and just showing that grace to one another, I've noticed that I've, grown. And then just like really wanting to, just the things I'm noticing internally, like my passion to truly see him succeed, and then to be what God has called him to be. Like, in the beginning stages, like, I want, pray for you and this and this and that. But now it's really like, Lord, I pray for his health, his finances, his mental health, and this and this and that. So just knowing how deeper I've gone in the Lord for him, and then the compromises that I'm willing to make. Like even today, I hate driving, right? So, but I know he had like a long day in his schoolwork and work and stuff. And I'm like, and we live on different sides of the towns, but usually I go back to back with him. Like, I don't want to drive, please. I don't want to come. Just come get me. And then today he was like, I do have some things to do, homework. And I was like, you know what? I'll just come to you. And it's like just the small things. And that's not to put that over your head, but it was just like, he does always come to me, drive all the way to my house, and I'm living on the other side of the town. But, those small things, like, okay, how can I take the smallest of pressure off of just how can I relieve him, even just the small things. So.
And I always told you that nothing's small. So
true.
That's good. Everything is important, and we learn through all those different, what we consider compromises, sacrifices, or selflessness. And so that's great. And the more we do that, the greater the love can just grow. How would you encourage other, this thing, dating, dating is dating. And you know how I feel about that. But anyway, how would you encourage young people who really would like to have a relationship, and they're all over the place dating different people, and going from relationship to relationship? How would you encourage them to look at things differently?
Yeah, I would say number one, be rooted, and then just have a solid foundation with the Lord, number one, because when you do get into a relationship, you're coming together. So the decisions that you're making, the habits that you may have, are going to affect that other person in the relationship. So I would say just being rooted and then having proper identity in who you are in Christ is huge, because if you don't, you might get your identity from other things, and that can truly affect your relationship. So I would say to wrap it up, just being whole in Christ. Number one, will help you a lot when you do make that transition from singleness to a relationship. So,
and I would piggyback off of that and the whole, and not to take away from the comment, but because there was some things that, obviously having a steady foundation, like there are some prerequisites, I would say just having that biblical foundation, but like there were some things that we weren't really exposed to, or like have to really have faith, or like our walk was tested until we even got together. And so not to say to the people who are going to come back and watch this video, like it has to be absolutely perfect, because some things won't, again, be exposed until you get into that relationship. So, and then also the hopping from relationship to relationship, like we talked about earlier, he was single for a while and I took the few years off from dating, and I was able to kind of like relinquish all that baggage that I had, and then, and supplemented it with, being in church and becoming rooted, as he said. So I definitely think having time off and just reflecting like on those past relationships and why it didn't work, and, going forward, praying to who God wants you to be with, and, not to even be overly picky, obviously have biblical standards, but just someone, obviously attraction, but those things can be
it can grow.
And it can just be surface level. Like you need to really focus on what's in the heart and emotional safety and, fidelity and all those green flags. Everybody talk about red, the red flags, like focus on those things that will be long term, because we're going to get old, and, you're going to still want someone that's still sweet to you and, uplift you, and that's truly your friend. So not to get so hung up on profession and attraction, but those things are important, but don't let it be the only thing.
So have your friends noticed in the time you guys been together that there's been a change in you?
Yeah, I would understand. I would say my family has noticed more. My mom definitely has noticed the change, but yeah. My mom says all the time, I can just tell you're super happy, and I'm glad that, Lord brought Shay into your life. So 100% they notice on my side. I would say yours too. So,
and even from, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, your brothers, like just being an example. Did they say that?
Allude.
Like I thought he had said, because I know one of his goals was to, be an example for his brothers, and I know they have like mentioned to him like he was a good role model and things like that. So they've noticed.
Yeah, forgot about them.
So we are on weeks now.
Yes.
Weeks. And so how excited is that? Weeks.
Yeah, it's exciting just to know, like, we don't have to, like, I don't have to drive to her apartment at night or, dropping her off and stuff like that. We can, like, truly, be one, start life together fully. It's exciting. The wedding's going to be fun, but I'm really looking forward to just doing life with her.
So in the journey that you guys was on, did the Holy Spirit reveal a lot of things where you guys able to share with each other?
Yeah, I would say just like areas we need to improve on, as far as strengthening our foundation. That was one of the areas the Holy Spirit really revealed to both of us, because like we said, that foundation is key, to a marriage. So we really had to hone in on that as far as just like making sure we're spiritually feeding ourselves, number one, and then, feeding each other spiritually too. So.
I'm proud of you guys, right?
Thank you, Dr.
I'm so excited. And you know that we approved of you guys being together and encourage you to just stand no matter what, stand, because God put you guys together. And so I just feel I'm so excited about. I remember I was excited about the engagement. You said, now you can talk about we're engaged.
Yeah.
That was so funny. And Shay always thought that maybe she was trying to figure this out. And you were determined, no, I know she's trying to think it's going to be here, it's going to be there. And how you said that was nice. That was really nice. That was really nice.
We're excited. He tricked me a couple times because within a 3-month span, it was my birthday, our anniversary,
right.
something
Exactly.
else. And I'm like, what's going on?
I did not trick her. I was like, I told you to be patient. So
that was powerful because you knew that there were those times that she's talking about that she thought you was going to do it and you was like, cool, like,
yeah,
you know, and that's a strength, right, Shay? So what would you like to leave this time that we had together, and what would you like to say on your own? And then I want you guys to give a kiss. A hug.
We can do that. We can definitely do that.
So what in your own words that you want to say? I don't care what it is.
Yeah, I'm just super thankful for like the wisdom you guys have given us, you know, everything we've just learned from y'all, you know, we're going to take this stuff on in life and use it. Even the hard conversations we had, we was in there crying and snotty nose and all that type of stuff. I'm thankful for those moments too. So I would just say, if I had to say one word, just super thankful for everything you and Dr. Pastor Harris have done for us, and, you know, the wisdom that you guys have imparted, you know, into us. Just thankful, and obviously we still have you guys for life, and we can call you guys for, you know, things, and we definitely will. But I'm just super thankful for the role that you guys have played in our lives. So.
You stole everything I was going to say.
No, you can't diddle. You can't diddle it. No, you can't diddle it. What would you like to say? Well,
yes. So I was going to say all of that. So I second that. And that I'm super grateful for Jarell and just walking alongside me. And like I said, just being patient, and then also being willing to be flexible, I guess, and then being led by God, and, you know, being receptive to, you know, open feedback, not critique, you know, us being receptive and giving each other that space. So I'm just grateful for him. Like I said, grateful for you guys. And then I'm just excited. We got 54 days left. And we can't wait to see you guys there at the wedding in the front. But yeah, that's really it. I'm just excited, and then just thankful as well. It's so close, but it's just like, I feel like it's still
close.
Like, it's just like,
it's close.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like, oh man, is this really happening? Like, I tell him that all the time. I'm like, oh wow, like, this is crazy.
And it went faster than you thought, huh, Shay?
It was going pretty slow at first, but now it's but now, you know, he just would tell me, like, I'm not even thinking about it. We're just going, just don't even think about it. And then we just gonna wake up and it's gonna be the day. So I'm trying to think like that, but it is going pretty fast now. My friend, she's getting married at the beginning of the month of May. And so I'm like, that's kind of my, what I'm looking for. Yeah, my benchmarks. I'm like, right when her wedding come, I'm like, woo, right is right after. So I'm like, that's what I'm gauging off of. But we're super excited, and we thank you for allowing us to be on Dr. Harris's time.
Really?
And we hope this blesses whoever watches this video and can hopefully take something from it. So
how would you like to leave? How would you like to leave?
Oh,
to leave this, what you want to do? You want to just hug? You want to kiss?
Oh no, we can do the kiss.
Very nice, very nice. So next time I see a kiss, it's gonna be at your wedding.
Yep.
I I love you guys. I'm so proud.
We love you too, Dr. Harris.
You know, one of the things, you know, we really believe and still believe in this relationship. One of the things I'm so proud of you is that you guys never ran. You stuck through the hard paths and put your foot in there and, you know, and stand no matter what and look at the results. And then we'll see even more results after you get married. I love you guys. And
we love you too, Dr. Harris.
Guys, again, so at the wedding.
Yay!